An unusual powerful winter storm and torrential rain have swept through the Middle East, causing havoc this week. And many Romanians were lucky to catch a meteor burning up in the atmosphere. Growing concern over dying wildlife around the west coast of the US. Cesium-137, the so-called fingerprint of Fukushima, has also been detected in the area. And last week 100,000 dead seabirds were reported since October.
Terror in the heart of Paris. Masked and heavily armed, two men entered the building in the centre of the French capital late this morning and began firing. By the time they'd stopped, at least 12 people were dead. Many others were seriously injured. The police were quickly on the scene, only to come under attack themselves.
Britain is once again battered by hurricane winds. 113-mile-an-hour winds came crashing in from the Atlantic. They have left 75,000 people without power in Scotland. Some incredible weather statistics were being bandied around by NASA this week. They claimed some parts of the US and Canada were colder than Mars. The daytime high on the Mars equator hit a balmy 17.6 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 8 degrees centigrade, which was considerably warmer than Chicago. The 2014 weather and climate broke world records. It will be confirmed as the hottest year on record. It was a year of extremes. More 2014 in numbers. In 2014, 84 tropical storms were registered on planet Earth. These are storms where wind speeds exceeded 63 kilometers per hour. 2014 had slightly fewer storms than the recent average.
At least 40 passengers have been killed and scores injured after a bus on which they were travelling collided with a fuel tanker and caught fire on a highway on the outskirts of Pakistan's southern city of Karachi.
Norway had its strongest storm in 20 years, as 73,000 households on the western coast were without power this week.
A show of solidarity never before seen in France. Almost 4 million people have turned out in Paris and other cities for unity marches after the murder of 17 people in 3 separate terrorist attacks. Officials say attendance in Paris was more than 2 million, and the figure was at least 3.7 million nationwide.
millimeters of rain hit some parts of Alice Springs over the weekend. The rain, as you can see on the video, was desperately needed in central Australia.
Causing cancellations to Air New Zealand flights to and from the Kingdom. The volcano created a small island in 2009 when it erupted. Air New Zealand says 600 passengers have been affected, but the Civil Aviation Authority says the last eruption was yesterday and the ash is clearing.
In an amazing statement yesterday, Turkish President Recep Erdogan claimed French citizens undertook the massacre at the Charlie Hebdo magazine, a Jewish supermarket, and the death of a policewoman. It is clear, he said, the French people undertook this massacre and Muslims were blamed for it. As Muslims, we have never sided with terror or massacres, racism, hate speech. Islamophobia are behind these massacres. Well, I had to think to myself when I read the statement of George Orwell's famous quote, "In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act."
In Malawi has killed 48 people and left another 23,000 displaced, the country's president said Tuesday. President Peter Mutharika declared 10 out of 28 districts in the country disaster zones.
Another massive storm is on collision course with the UK as the jet stream sits once again menacingly over the islands, in the same position which brought them 12 major storms last winter.